This Social Security measure gives at least some protection
for anybody to hand this out. We're asking for a chance to have the people who will receive the benefit to earn their way. The same principle established under the Social Security system in the 30s.
It is no longer acceptable to discuss women's rights as separate from human rights.
I know we can come together to face down the challenges of our own time.
Welcome back to the Democrats. We are here to interview state representative candidates from the Democratic side of the ballot that are going to be running in the November election. Today, our special guest, and I'm very pleased to introduce my neighbor and friend, and we're both running together in Ward 6 in Nashua, Ken Gidge. Welcome, Ken.
Hi, how are you both? It's happy to be here, and I think this is a great thing. The Democrats need this.
Well, the great thing about this is we turn the table around.
Exactly.
Because in the past, there's Gidge World, and there's all these Gidge shows.
Yes, I've interviewed both of you.
Yeah, you ask the question, usually asking the questions, and now you're in the hot seat.
I know, I'm scared. I don't like being interviewed.
Turn the tables and you're
That's
on
right,
the other side,
that's
so
right.
we get to ask the questions.
So tell us about your media background, I guess, in terms of not only what you're doing for National Access TV right now, but what you've done in the past.
Well, media-wise, I am doing several shows here. We are doing, it was Gidge World, now it's The Art of Politics, and we are also doing Art Show Art Sales, which will be bringing artists in and doing shows here, and also having the art sales here, giving them a gallery showing right here. So that's the media, but I've done radio for 8 years. Here in Nashua, and I've actually, I used to do a show once a month in England called American Pie with a very English lady, obviously. So I've done a lot of kind of media and been in the media.
Tell us a little bit about the art. You were just featured in the front page of the Boston Globe recently about your 3D art. Tell us about that and about your art background.
Okay, so I come from a family of inventors. All right, so that gives me kind of an edge on a lot of things. But my background was when I graduated from high school, went to a junior college for a while, then went to the Art Institute in Boston, and also an acting school in Boston. I was in a couple movies. But the art part of what I came up with was a new form of art. And it started off with a Jackson Pollock, doing the Jackson Pollock type of stuff. And I did one that was 8 feet by 57 feet. 300 people helped.
Wow.
So it's it's enormous. But so we brought it down, and I came up with, from Jackson Pollock, I went on 2 steps more. And basically, it's 3D art, but it's art that looks just like regular art, abstract art, but when you put glasses on, it's 3D. It's not supposed to happen. This is not supposed to work. So the Boston Globe has picked it up. They will be doing a story on it. I think, I just talked to them, might be this weekend.
Another story, right?
It's going to be on the front page.
Well, I've been to your house, and you see the paintings, and they're very striking and beautiful. But then you put the 3D glasses on, and they just pop right out.
Wow.
It's amazing.
It's canvas?
Oh yes, canvas and wood. It's very interesting. It's more. I'm not really. I look at it this way. There are a lot of people who are going to pick this up and do it as art. They're going to do far better than I am. I'm just more the inventor of it.
Wow, that's so interesting. We need to talk about Concord and your state legislative career. You're on the Commerce Committee, correct?
Correct. Commerce, which is banking and insurance.
Banking and insurance. And you are currently serving on a special commission to investigate the State Liquor Commission. So what's that about?
Well, that's, I guess a lot of people were worried that it was going to be just a simple witch hunt. And of course, there's only 3 Republicans there. And it's a $600 million a year business.
The Liquor Commission.
The Liquor Commission. And every year it's been doing $20 million more.
Right.
And it's been run like a business. And that was an amendment by Maggie Hassan, by the way, which was amazing that she came up with it and got this amendment passed. So that's one of the reasons why it's getting better and better and better. But there has been some internal problems, as you probably know, with Commissioner Bodie, et cetera. So they put a committee together to study it.
Legislative.
Legislative committee. And we're still up there. I'm still working up there twice a week. And to be perfectly honest with you, I think I'll just leave it alone. It's a lot of internal stuff they can handle, and it is a $600 million a year business. And I've said this. I said, look, everybody at this table can write a law, get it passed from committee, House, and probably get it into law, but there's no one sitting at the table who understands a $600 million
And I know it's one
industry.
of the bigger generators of revenue for the state of New Hampshire. I forget if it's fourth or fifth, but it's right up there as one of the top generators for paying for state services.
Absolutely.
It's huge,
and
right.
It's just, we need somebody up there to explain what a $600 million a year is.
Now, your committee did a lot of work in the last session with the, quote, FRM.
FRM, the largest Ponzi scheme in the history of
Right.
this.
Can you tell us a little bit about that, what your involvement was with that whole situation?
Well, I was in the Commerce Committee, as we've mentioned, so it was a joint committee of Commerce, House, and Senate. And that's Maggie Hassan ran that committee. And basically, it was to find out why about $30 to $50 million was basically stolen from people here in the state of New Hampshire. And we tried to pass some laws, obviously, after. It's very, very complex. There are 2 people now in jail. There was also a gentleman from Securities who resigned because he wanted to talk. There was someone from banking, the president of banking. And I believe our senator, if she was still the head of the AG, she might not be there either. That's very complicated, obviously.
Now, we'd be remiss if we didn't ask you about your family, about your wife. We'll never hear I'll know the end of it going door to door if I don't.
Yeah, okay. Well, I have a son who's 26. He's in China teaching English to the Chinese. Perfect place in history at this moment in history to be. My wife is an educator. She's very creative herself. She's just retired. And she's driving me crazy as I'm driving her crazy. And I've lived in the same house that I was basically born.
I was going to say, your Ward 6 roots go pretty deep.
Over 100 years, actually, from Blossom Street, where my father was born, and his brothers and sister, and down to Learned Street, Harris Street, Hayden Street, and that's where I've lived my whole life.
Wow.
Never moved yet.
So what else do you see happening this next election? What's at stake in your mind as far as Democrats and Republicans and working together if we can find moderate people in between? What's the situation going forward?
Well, how I see it simply is that I believe that the Secretary of State has said it's been 125 years that this has been this odd, where at 125 years ago, I believe it was 300 Republicans and 100 Democrats. This time it's 297 Republicans and 103 Democrats. Right. And so they have a supermajority, which they can do anything they want to. And let's face it, if you've been up there, it's been very rude. It hasn't been a very nice atmosphere. So we've got to get more Democrats in there. We've got to balance this out because a lot of what is taking place in the cutting, et cetera, is coming back to Nashua. And when it comes back to Nashua, we have to make it up. So a lot of the people who went up there forgot where they're from.
Right. And Nashua really got hit hard in terms of the break between Republicans and Democrats last time. The 3 of us right here are incumbents. And we are half. We are half of the 6. We're half of the Democrat delegation from Nashua, even though currently there are 28, soon to be 27 reps from Nashua, and that that kind of disparity doesn't seem to help. Well,
when we're sitting at a table and half of the delegation from the second largest city is only 6, right, then we've got a lot of problems. Nashua has a lot of problems. So us. Democrats these last 2 years. This has been a battle. People have not experienced anything, especially with the recession. Look, we're fighting everything. Mm-hmm. So we've got to, really get some more Democrats in there, balance things out. Hopefully, we get a Democratic
bring some
president.
Moderation back to Concord.
Maggie Hassan as governor. It's very important. Very important time.
Well, Ken, it's been great having you come in and talk to us, and good luck next month in your election. Thanks, for the Ken. Democrats. I'm Cindy Rosenwald, and this is my co-host, David Campbell. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.